It's 3 in the morning and you're lying in the back of a van behind a hardware store. Something wakes you. Grit shifting under a boot, right on the other side of the sliding door, close enough to touch through the metal. Then the handle moves. A pull, a pause, another pull, harder. You don't move. You barely breathe. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're trying to work out where you put your keys. But that door handle isn't where this started. This was settled hours ago, in daylight, before you ever parked. The people who understand that better than anyone are not weekend campers, and they are not the ones filming drone shots over the desert in matching flannel. Most of them would be counted as homeless on a government form. They would tell you they are housed, just not inside a building. And either way, they have had to get this right hundreds of nights in a row, in real parking lots, in real cities, with nobody coming to help if they get it wrong. Some of them lost a house. Some lost a job at 58 and never found another one. What they built instead is a set of habits that keeps their van sitting there untouched while the van 2 spaces over has its window punched out at 4 in the morning. I'm going to walk you through 7 of those habits and then 3 mistakes that quietly undo every one of them. Number 3 costs about the price of a sandwich, and there's a good chance you're currently doing it backwards. Number 7 is the one that decides more than any lock you will ever buy. And if you don't live in a van, stay with me anyway. Half the people who end up doing this never plan to. First though, you need to understand the person outside that door, because almost everyone pictures him wrong. The picture most of us carry is a professional. Gloves, a slim Jim, working the lock in the dark. That belongs in a film. The reality of vehicle break-ins is dumber and much faster. The person going through a row of parked cars in a lot is usually on foot, usually looking for one specific thing he can turn into cash before lunchtime, and he is in a serious hurry. Researchers at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte sat down with over 400 convicted burglars and asked them how they chose. The answers were remarkably boring. They didn't beat security systems. They avoided them. Roughly 6 in 10 said that a sign of an alarm was enough to send them to a different house entirely. Not because they couldn't handle it, because the next target was 30 seconds away and didn't have one. The same arithmetic runs down a row of parked vans. He wants to be gone in under a minute. Every extra lock, every second of noise, every angle where a passing car might catch him, that is a cost. On the other side of the ledger is whatever he thinks is inside. Effort against reward. If the numbers don't work, he keeps walking, and there is always another van. Everything in this video comes out of that one calculation. Nobody here is armoring a vehicle. Nobody has the money or the space. The goal is to be the least interesting van on the street and let the man doing the maths choose somebody else. So let's go through it. Number 1, the gray van principle. Walk down any city street at night and look at the vans parked along the curb. Some of them are shouting. A roof rack with a spare tire and a shovel strapped to it. Solar panels catching the street light, a ladder on the back doors, a national park sticker on the glass, a hiking brand decal, curtains with a little gap where the fabric doesn't quite meet. Every one of those details is information, and it is being read by somebody you will never see. A van covered in outdoor gear stickers is a shopping list. It says power tools, or a laptop, or camera gear, or a bicycle worth more than the van. Solar panels say there is a battery bank bolted under the floor that sells for real money. Curtains say somebody sleeps in here, which tells him exactly when the van is empty and exactly when it isn't. So the long-term dweller goes the other way entirely. Plain white or gray panel van, no decals, no branding, with a bit of road grime left on the paintwork deliberately. Sometimes a cheap magnetic sign for a carpet cleaning company stuck on the side. Sometimes a battered ladder rack with nothing on it. The van reads as a work vehicle belonging to a tradesman who takes his tools home at night, and empty work vans get skipped. Boring is the armor. Number 2, parking geometry. Where you park matters. How you park matters more. And it is the part almost everyone skips. Nearly every van on the road has one enormous weakness, and it is the side sliding door. Wide, easiest to force, and the only opening that lets a person get a whole body inside in one movement. So the habit is free. Park with the sliding door facing a wall, a fence, a tall hedge, a dumpster enclosure, the side of a brick building. Leave a gap too narrow for anyone to work in comfortably. You have just deleted the front entrance from the building, and it cost you nothing but a bit of thought about which way you pulled in. Then nose out, always. Front of the van pointing at the exit. Never reversed into a corner with a curb in front of the bumper. If you ever need to leave at 2 in the morning, you want to turn the key and go, not perform a 3-point turn in a gravel lot while somebody stands at your window. Lighting is the other half. A pitch black corner at the far end of a car park feels private, and privacy is exactly what a thief wants for himself. But the brightest floodlight in the lot puts your van on a stage all night and makes it the first thing anybody looks at. The sweet spot is the edge of the light. Enough spill that anyone crouched at your door is visible from the road, not so so much that your van is the main attraction. Number 3, the occupied illusion. This is the one you're probably doing backwards. Almost everyone sleeping in a vehicle tries to make it look completely empty. Blackout covers up, everything silent, nothing visible. Van looking abandoned in the corner of the lot. That feels safe. It is the opposite of safe. An abandoned-looking van at midnight is a van nobody is coming back to for hours, and time is the one thing he actually wants. The people who have done this for years flip it. They make the van look like a working vehicle whose driver stepped away for 2 minutes and is definitely coming back. A pair of muddy work boots on the dashboard, a high-vis vest thrown across the passenger seat, a hard hat, a clipboard, a paper coffee cup in the holder, a length of copper pipe on the floor of the cab, a small red light blinking near the windscreen, and a radio left on low, just loud enough to be heard by somebody leaning in close to the glass. None of that stops a determined person, and it isn't supposed to. It exists to put one uncomfortable question into the head of a man standing at your door at midnight. Is the owner about to come round that corner right now? That question sends most opportunists somewhere else. The whole kit costs about $11 at a thrift store. Number 4, the second lock that doesn't match. Factory van locks are a known quantity. There are only a handful of common van models on the road, which means the latch on your sliding door is the same latch on tens of thousands of others, and anybody who has forced one has effectively practiced on yours. On some popular models, a person who knows the trick can be inside in seconds without a single tool, and the owner finds out in the morning. So the answer is a different kind of lock in a different place. An external hasp lock bolted through the sliding door and the body panel, so the factory latch stops being the thing that decides anything. A slam lock or a deadlock fitted to the rear doors. A steel bar or a cut length of broom handle dropped into the track so the door cannot travel even if the latch lets go. Pins driven through the frames from the inside. A steering wheel lock sitting in plain view on the wheel overnight. Two things happen. The obvious one is that forcing the door now takes real time and real noise. The second one matters more. A strange lock on the outside of a van tells the man on the pavement that this owner has thought about this before him, which means there is probably more he can't see, which means this is not a 2-minute job, and that is usually where he stops thinking about your van at all. Number 5, nothing worth taking. Every long-term dweller learns this one, sometimes expensively. The strongest door in the world still invites an attempt. An empty-looking interior doesn't. It starts with the walk-around. Once a day, in daylight, before you settle anywhere, stand 30 feet back from your own van and look at it the way a stranger would. Walk all the way around it. What is visible through the glass? A laptop bag on the seat, a charging cable which tells him there is a phone somewhere, a cooler, a toolbox, a rolled sleeping bag, a bank envelope on the dash. If you can see it from 30 feet, so can he, and every one of those is a reason to try your handle. The rule is simple and absolute. Nothing visible through any window, not a bag, not a cable, not a jacket thrown over something. Then there is the splitting habit. Cash and documents never live in one place. A small amount somewhere findable, the rest in 3 separate spots that aren't, and the irreplaceable things, the passport, the title, the spare bank card, kept off the vehicle entirely whenever that's possible. A cheap wallet with a few small notes and an expired card sits in the glove box as a decoy, because a man who finds something is far more likely to leave than a man who finds nothing and starts pulling the interior apart looking for it. Now, before the last two, one quick thing. A lot of what keeps you safe out here also costs money, and most people going into this have no idea where the money actually goes. So I wrote it down. It's called the Van Life Savings Manual, where the real monthly costs hide, how to cut them without cutting your safety, and how to handle mail, insurance, laundry, and doctors without a fixed address. There's also a section listing the overnight parking rules town by town for the 40 largest cities in the country, which is far too much to read out loud. It's free, and it's the first link in the description below. Grab it later tonight because these next two are the ones people tell me change the most. Number 6, ears before eyes. Inside a van at night, you can see almost nothing. What you can do is hear everything, and the people who have done this for years build the whole night around that. The oldest version costs nothing at all. Park where the ground talks. Gravel, loose grit, dry leaves, broken tarmac. A person can cross smooth concrete in silence. Nobody crosses gravel in silence. That sound is your first alarm, and it goes off while he is still 6 feet from the door. Then the $10 version, a battery-powered door chime with a magnetic sensor stuck inside each door. So if a door moves at all, something rings next to your head. Some people run a second sensor on the bonnet because catalytic converter theft happens under the van while you're lying above it, and keep an air horn or a personal alarm within arm's reach of where you sleep. The correct response to somebody working on your door is sudden, stupid amounts of noise. Noise brings attention. attention, and attention is the one thing he refuses to spend. And then there is how you lie down, which sounds like nothing and matters enormously. Head toward the cab, feet toward the rear doors, so you're facing the direction you'd need to move. Keys in the exact same place every single night, within reach without sitting up, and never in a bag. Shoes beside you, not stacked somewhere. Phone charged and next to the keys, torch next to the phone. Set it up the same way every night until your hand finds all four things in the dark without your brain being involved. Because if it ever happens, you are not going to be thinking clearly. You are going to be running on whatever you rehearsed. Done properly, you're in the driver's seat with the engine turning over in about 8 seconds. Being able to leave is your entire security system, and it only exists if you built it before you fell asleep. Number 7, the neighbors you choose. This is the one people underestimate most, and it decides more than every lock in this video put together. A van parked alone behind a closed building has no witnesses. It doesn't matter how well hidden it is, because hidden from the world also means hidden from help. Nobody is going to look up. Nobody is going to wonder. Whatever happens at that door has as long as it needs, so the habit runs against instinct. Park near people, near a 24-hour place with staff arriving and leaving, near a hospital lot, a truck stop, a residential street with lit front rooms, a road that somebody actually drives down at 2 in the morning, not directly under a bedroom window, not blocking a driveway, but inside the range of ordinary human traffic. And then the part that separates the people who last from the people who don't. One human contact, the clerk at the petrol station, the security guard on his rounds, the woman who walks her dog past at 6. You say good morning. You mention you're a driver resting up, or that you're between places for a while. You keep it short and polite, and you never make anybody uncomfortable. You keep your patch spotless, you're gone early, you leave nothing behind. Do that for a week, and something changes that no hardware can buy. You stop being a suspicious van, and you become the bloke in the van. And the bloke in the van gets a knock on the window and a quiet warning instead of a phone call to the police. He gets somebody glancing up when a stranger walks past his door. He gets told which end of the lot got broken into last month. That relationship is worth more than every lock on this list, and it costs you nothing but manners. Now, that's what works. Here are the 3 things that quietly undo all of it. Mistake 1, repetition. Same spot, same street, same arrival time, same departure, every night for a month. Patterns get noticed by everybody, including the people you'd rather didn't notice. Somebody who has watched you drive off at 7:15 for 3 weeks knows precisely when your van is empty and precisely how long he has inside it. This is the mistake that turns a random vehicle into a planned target, and it is the easiest one to make because a good spot feels like a solved problem. Rotate. Keep 4 or 5 places and cycle them. Change your times. Predictability is the thing you're actually trying to avoid. Mistake 2, the gap you leave open. It gets hot and airflow starts to feel worth the risk, but a window cracked wide enough for a hand and a wire coat hanger is an unlocked van with an extra step in it. Use roof vents, rain guards, or a proper window screen that doesn't widen the gap, and lock every door from the inside before you sleep, every single night, including the one you tell yourself nobody would ever bother with. That is always the door. Mistake 3, and this is the dangerous one because it removes the only real advantage you have, making your own van undrivable. Gear stacked on the driver's seat, boxes in the footwell, a blackout board wedged into the windscreen that takes 40 seconds to prise out, keys buried in a rucksack somewhere in the back, a privacy curtain clipped shut so tightly that you cannot get from the bed into the cab without climbing out through the side door, which is the one door on earth you never want to open at 3 in the morning. Every one of those is somebody trading their escape route for a bit of comfort, usually without noticing they've done it. Locks buy you seconds. Wheels buy you everything. If you can be in the driver's seat with the engine running before anybody gets through a door, then whatever is happening outside stops being your problem and becomes somebody else's story. Keep the cab clear. Keep a path from where you sleep to that seat. Keep the keys where your hand already knows to go in the dark. So put it all together and notice what none of it is. None of it is expensive. None of it involves building something a determined criminal couldn't get into because nothing you can afford would stop that man and nothing needs to. What actually protects a van is doubt. That flicker in somebody's head at 2 in the morning when he starts wondering whether the owner is about to come round the corner, whether that unfamiliar lock is going to take longer than he's got, whether the guy at the petrol station is watching him right now, now? Whether that engine is about to start, a van that looks like nothing, a door pressed up against a wall, boots on the dash, gravel underfoot, a face that somebody local already knows. Most of it is one afternoon and one trip to a hardware store, and the people who taught it to us learned it the hard way, in real lots, on real nights, with everything they owned sitting behind that door. If this was useful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps put this in front of people who are sleeping in a vehicle tonight and don't know a word of it yet. And go watch the video on your screen now on the 3 places you should never park overnight, no matter how safe they look.